What's up guys, it's TheClawesome here and welcome to part 3 of a series where I teach you all about making Minecraft PvP maps, teach you the redstone behind it, everything about that. Last episode I taught you about this mechanism for organizing your players at the spawn and all about getting them to their own location without interfering with each other, and I've done the rest, tested half of them, and I realized that these three and those ones there weren't working properly. It's because I had these these aren't command blocks, come on now. I had these repeaters the wrong way round. So I've had my ice cream and I'm here with another player who is my second account. My girlfriend, her sisters use it. Her dad used to use it, but I don't know. But her sisters use the account now. That explains the skin and stuff like that. So yeah, pretty good. Made some pretty good progress. And today I'll be teaching you all about adding objectives, creating the teams, and I'll even be teaching you how to add the people who are in here to the teams. So we're going to start off by coming over here and getting a piece of redstone and adding a little gap here. There's no particular reason, but it's just nice to be able to have a separation between the come on now, what's the word? Between the activation mechanism and the rest of it. So we're going to add 2 command blocks to begin with. Now, the commands that we'll be using mostly today are the /scoreboard command. All these full stops are because I've recorded this already. Wasn't happy with how it turned it out, so I just got rid of all that previous clutter and a bunch of full stops now. So now we've got /scoreboard. Now this is the main thing we'll be using, so it's useful to have that on your clipboard, but inevitably you will lose that off your clipboard because we'll be doing other things. So it's easier to just type /sc and then hit tab, because if you type /s you get other things like this and there's la la la. So /sc and then hit tab. That's the easiest thing. Now if we hit tab now, we get 3 options. That's objectives, players, and teams. Objectives has got everything to do with creating objectives, removing objectives, listing objectives, and setting the display of the objectives. Now I'm going to explain all of them in the next part, the next section, because that's what we'll be working on first. Then there's players. This has got all to do with the player's score. I'm pretty sure that's it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It just shows which players are part of the game and stuff like that. It's pretty simple. It shows you can add score, remove score, set their score, reset their score, and list how many people are in the game. And then there's finally teams. Now teams is what we'll be using also in this episode for creating the teams and modifying the teams in such a way that it works best for everyone. So we're going to start with /scoreboard objectives, sorry. And then we've got list, which lists all of the objectives, add, which adds an objective, remove, which removes an objective, and set display, which we need to have an objective to be able to use. So obviously we don't have any objectives to list or remove or to set the display of, so we're just going to hit add. Now if you hit space now, you have to hit type in a name. Now there's 2 names you have to give this one. The first, I'm not sure which one's the first one, which one's the second one. I believe one of them is the name that you reference it in like all the commands. So when you're trying to edit it or something like that, you reference it this name, and then the last one is the display name. I find it's easier just to keep 2 of the same, because chances are it's not going to matter too much. If you're doing multiple objectives, you've probably figured out most of the system already, and you can just do some trial and error to see which is which. So I'm just going to call this one kills, because we're going to be counting the player kills. Now this is where you gotta not freak out. If I hit tab now, we're going to get a whole bunch of different stats that we can track and stuff like that, but we're just going to backspace those 3. Now stat.useItem or .craftItem or .anything or like .myblock and stuff like that, they are all pretty simple. Now you could just use stat.craftItem and then the item ID, and you could use use item and then that item ID, etc, etc. That's not what we'll be using for a PvP map. You're probably not going to be crafting stuff and mining stuff during a PvP map. So what we're going to do is there's about 5 simple ones which haven't got that exact extension or anything like that. There's dummy, or death count and dummy, but dummy is basically what we'll be using if you want to add a score manually. So you have to use a command block to add the score and stuff like that. So unless you're doing something complicated, and I'll show you something which you might be useful for that in the future. I'll actually go over to my other map that I previously made, but you probably won't be using that for now. Then obviously there's death count, which counts how many deaths they've had. Player kill count. Now this is what the one we'll be using, player kill count. There's also total kill count and your health. We'll also be using health at the end of this, like in conjunction with the player kill count, just to add a little bit more depth to the experience of fighting other people. So player kill count, and then we're just going to go the second name, which is kills again. Now this here will all add an objective called kills, which counts the player kill count. And yeah, it's pretty simple. So we're just going to hit enter, and it says added objective kills successfully. Now the reason we did that now is because it's just easier to show that it actually works. So if it didn't work, we would know why. Now, as for labeling your redstone, now it helps when you're placing stuff on a command block. You want to hold shift and then right click, just so that you don't actually activate or go into the editing of the command block, and it's, you know, you can actually type on it. Now I find it's helpful if you put a context, so like scoreboard for example. If we were doing time, we would do time at the top, something like that. You don't have to do it exactly this way, it's just useful for me. So I go scoreboard adds objective to count player to count kills. Okay, so it obviously we're not going to be counting other kills. We know that. We can just look in the command block if you have to, if you're confused, but we know it's a PvP map, then it's not going to be any other mobs, so we just use player kill count. And if you want to count other kills as well, you can do total kill count. You can use the stats to count what animals you've been killed by and what you want to kill. But I find this is a very useful way to count the objective, like not to count the objective, to label the objective, so know what it is. Now there's going to be a link in the description called minecraft.gamepedia.com, and I'm going to link you to a scoreboard objectives list. It's basically a guide to how each of the objectives and what each one does and stuff like that. Pretty simple, easy to reference, not too complicated and everything. Now we also want to be able to add a display for the scoreboard. Actually, you know what, these two here, I'll change it up a little. I'll change my order a little bit. We are going to go get all of this. We want to add another objective. So we want to add an objective called health. The reason we're doing this is because we want to be able to count how much health they have. We want to be able to display it above their name, and I'm going to teach you how to do that in a moment. So it's pretty much the same. The name of the objective is just called health, and then I've just done with capital H's because when you're, wow, I don't know how to spell. Is that actually right? Am I dumb? I don't know. I feel like I'm dumb. I've looked at it more than once now and I feel like I'm dumb. I'm going to Google it real quick. Health. Nope, that's absolutely right. Wait, is it? Yeah, no, that's absolutely right. Okay, I'm just confusing myself now. Apologize for that. So we're just going to chuck that in there and then hit OK. I believe we did do that. Okay, already exists. Now I'm going to go through and label all of these later, but for the sake of time, we're not going to do it now. Now I would like to add a break in here. Now this break isn't 100% needed, but it's useful to have, especially if you're having heaps and heaps of command blocks like I do down there. You probably can't see it from here, but like I do down there. And what we're going to do now is I'm going to teach you how to do the displays for. So if I go scoreboard objectives, set display. Now this command is very useful. We got set display, so it basically just chooses where to display the objective. We got list, which will show up in the multiplayer list, which I'll show you in a moment. Sidebar, which will show it on the side, which is what we're going to use first. Set display. No, we don't want this one. And below name, which shows it below the player's name. So I'm going to go sidebar. I'm going to put kills in the sidebar because we want to be able to just glance over and see it. So if I kill command area, I won't do that right now because I'm going to add another objective in a second. So we just want to put that in that command block right there. Now this delay isn't needed, but it's useful to have so that the objective is already created when we set the display, because we can't set the display of an objective that of an objective that doesn't exist yet. So it's a little bit of delay is helpful, especially if you're on a laggy machine. It might steady it up a bit, but then again, you're running all this redstone anyway, so I don't imagine it would be too bad. So now we want to set the display for the objective health. We want to set it below the name, and we want to just tab to health. Now tab is amazingly useful when doing scoreboards. Alright, so now that we've got these, this is going to be super useful. I can come over here, and apparently you've got 0 health. For objectives, if you don't update them, just like our score didn't show up on the right, it doesn't show up unless it's updated. So there's two ways we can update it. Obviously, I can get a kill, and I'm going to have to switch over to the other, back to game, respawn. I have to switch over to the other account. Now if I go /TP Killerman88, TheClawesome. Now that's one way to add kills. Now the other way is to go /scoreboard, players, add Killerman88 will do kills. We choose the objective and then the amount we want to add. So if I add 3, it's going to add 3. Now what I just did there was I went into scoreboard, I went into the players, I wanted to add some score, so I typed add, and then I chose the player, I chose the objective I wanted to add the kill amount, chose the objective I wanted to add to, and then I put the numbers of how many I wanted to add to. So if I do it again, it's going to add it to 3. Now that's another way to test it. It's a good way to test it if you don't want to have to get another person on the server and test it out and stuff like that. You will obviously have to test it in the way that you're going to have to at least get 1 kill so you know it's counting the right objective, and hence the reason why I brought Killerman88 on this server. And yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory in that way. So now that we've set the display for both of them, you'll notice something. If we get far away, the health disappears, but as we get close, it appears. This is actually super useful for PvP maps because it stops people. For example, if I have half health and I see Killerman88 over there, and I'm coming towards Killerman88, I get this close. I see that Killerman88 has full health. Now I'm not going to go up against someone who has full health because I have half health, unless I'm really confident in my abilities and I have an amazing diamond sword or something like that. So by then it's a good time for Killerman88 to give chase. So it just adds another level of complexity and fun to the game. Now what we're going to do now is what we've all been waiting for. Well, I know what I've been waiting for, is we're going to create the teams. Yay! Now because we have 4 teams, we're going to need 4 command blocks. We've got purple, blue, green and red. So doing this is pretty simple, pretty cookie cutter. So we're going to /scoreboard, teams, add. It's pretty self-explanatory. Now this is where you have to make sure you don't get anything wrong. Now you want to add the name of the team. Now I don't know why I said you don't have to get anything wrong. It's literally only one word. So we're going to add team blue first. Team blue is added successfully. Alright. So that's not the command that I want. So we're going to chuck that in there. Team blue. We're going to add team green. We are going to add team red. And we're going to add team purple. Now just for the sake of testing, we're going to step on the pressure plate to make sure it actually creates them. As you can see, I fixed the problem where the nothing in command blocks was showing up. That was simply a game rule, which I will show you in a moment after I've done all these. This is going to branch off here or something like that. So yeah, now that we've created some teams, we want to be able to edit those teams. Now I'm just going to add a little bit of delay here, just for the sake of editing teams that exist instead of teams that don't exist. Now, for the sake of sanity, or organization rather, I'm going to come over here. I'm going to put these below so we know which team is which. So if some team doesn't work for whatever reason, we can just go directly to that command block, check it out, and pretty much follow it. Now I know we haven't done anything in these command blocks here yet, but it's easy if they're just the same. So now we want to do /scoreboard, obviously, just like every other time in this episode. And then tab across to option. Actually, if we go list real quick, it'll show all of the teams are there. That's just to confirm that the teams are in fact there. They're not broken or anything like that. Okay, so tab across to option. Now we got to choose which team we're going to do. I'm going to do edit team blue. Oops, didn't mean to hit enter. Now you can edit 3 things: color, friendly fire, and see friendly invisible. So I'm going to start with we're obviously going to edit color because that's what we want to do right now. You may want to disable friendly fire. I know I definitely will, so I'll add that in the next set of command blocks. Because, so basically friendly fire, for those of you who don't know, is you can't hit people on your same team. So if that's enabled, I'm pretty sure. Now this always gets me because I'm dumb, but I'm pretty sure when friendly fire is off, you can't hit your teammates. When it's on, you can hit your teammates. That makes sense in my head. I could be wrong, but I'm never confident if I'm right or wrong. Now, then see friendly invisibles is basically you can see your friends if they're invisible. It's pretty, makes sense. So we're going to go color. Now, because we're doing blue, we're going to do... which blue should we do? I know there's a light blue and a dark blue. As you can see, dark blue is the second one on the list, but we're just going to do normal blue. Alright, so we're going to Control A, Control C, and then hit Enter. Alright, so that's worked. We're going to do that with every other color. Now, for green, I personally believe that dark green is the best looking one. Obviously, we want to change which team we're editing, because I'm silly. Didn't do that to begin with. We want to change which team we're editing and the color. Now, red, I think, by itself looks pretty good. And we're just going to go red. Color red. I believe that's a color. Make sure it's just not actually... Yeah, no, it's just red. So then we got purple. Now, I'm not sure the exact colors of purple. I'll have to double check. So we got purple color. I want to go dark purple. I feel like that's gonna be best. Dark purple. Control A. There. Okay. So now that we've done that, we've got all the colors set. Now, obviously, me and Killerman88 over here are not in our own teams yet, but I can fix that. We can fix that no problem. We can fix it together. Now, before we do anything else, I'm going to real quick add another piece over here. Go like this. Boop, boop. Purple there, red there. Okay. So now that we've got all of these, all I want to do is add the ability to go purple, friendly fire, true or false. So now I believe it's false. Friendly fire false. Okay. Now we want to put that in the correct command block. Now we're just going to go through and do this for every single one. I believe this one was blue. This one was green. Now this is especially good for massive groups, but it's not too much of a bigger deal when it comes to small things like this. This isn't going to be a mass game, a 16 people game. So unless you're all crammed into a small area like the people in my map will be, I haven't put the map down there yet, but or you have a lot of arrows flying between or something like that, it doesn't matter too much. So now that we've got two properties set up, property quote unquote these things, quote unquote files, but not really, they're not really files because they're just subcategories. It helps if you look at it from the above because it looks like a family tree, so you set the teams and then you edit the teams in both. You could also do the C friendly invisibles. I'm not sure if I would do that because I don't know, just doesn't seem very useful in this particular situation. If you're going to have a lot of invisibility in the map, then that's absolutely okay, but for now we will not. So I'm going to grab a command block. I'm going to come up here. Now this is one of the things that is going to require a pressure plate. Now I haven't put pressure plates in these yet. I probably should have told you to do that before so that there was no having to go back and change it. Ooh, where did that... Oh, it went in there. That's interesting. Okay, so now that we've got the pressure plate there, we're going to have a piece of redstone here. Sorry, right there. Actually, do I want to put it there? Yeah, why not? I'll put it there. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to teach you about adding people to teams. If I go / scoreboard, players, nope, not players, what am I doing? Teams, we want to go join because we want to join the team. I think I'll join green. Now, this is where you want to use @p. It's going to add me to the team. As you can see, I was immediately added to the green team and my name on the right changed. Put it up against a white background there for you. Pretty simple. It just added me to the team green straight away. Not hard to do. And we want to do that with every single one of these command blocks here. So we would add this command block here, like that. There. Except I'm doing the wrong one. Okay, so instead of doing green, we want to do blue and then go @p. So that's just testing that the color's correct. See, doubling it up and testing it for each one is bonus because we not only get to mess up and figure out where we went wrong. I mean, not that messing up's fun, but you know, friggin' helps you learn. So yeah, now that's going to add the closest player, which is going to be this player no matter what. It's going to add them to Team Blue. Now, another thing we're going to do after this is I'm going to build if I come out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Does that look about, we'll go 13, 14, 15. It's going to be on the 15th block. Now, you want to also teleport your players to another cell. Now, I'll explain why this is when I'm doing the spawning and respawning system, because it's basically going to be a gearing cell. So, as the same method you used over here in this teleportation block, you want to add them and teleport them over to, let's just go like this, I believe it was 15. And because this one here, teleports from there to there, the orientation is going to be correct. So all you have to do is stick it in and change the actual numerical value. So I'm going to add a small delay in here so that we're not teleported beforehand instead of afterhand. After there. Okay, brain, calm down. So now 15. Okay, all good. Now that's all we need to do for this part of the episode. Now I didn't actually teach you a whole lot about what I was doing for the teams part. Scoreboard, teams, add. So once we're in add, we basically just join. So we want to join the team and then just select the team we want them to join. It's pretty self-explanatory. If I wanted to join red, I would... Oh, okay. So now this is something interesting. Let me just activate this command block to see if I didn't actually put that in the chat. Okay, so now I realized that I hadn't actually executed this command. I had just put it in the command block, and that's why I wasn't going red. So blue, red, we know blue, red, green work. Yep, we know that purple works. Alright, so all of the objectives work, and basically you just want to go from command block to command block, making sure that each of these are correct. So we can just Control A, Control C, Control V, and then go to each one, hit Control V. Pretty easy. It's a lot of copy and pasting for each player. I've already done these ones, so I mean, we're just going to add a 3 delay right there. Now hitting shift on these is just a pain, but it's not the end of the world. I could just stand on here. That would be a whole crap load easier. Whoop, I'm falling. So after this, there we go. We've completed one line already. So now whenever someone goes in there, they'll get added to the correct team after their spawn point. So their spawn point will be set there. They'll be teleported to there. They'll be added to the team, and then they'll be teleported to gearing cell. Now I'm going to build the gearing cells after. You just basically want to do them exactly the same as this in preparation for the next episode, where I'm inevitably going to change them a little bit, but that's just for convenience sake. Now the last thing we want to do is, because we want this map to be played more than once, obviously, because our maps are going to be so amazing and fabulous, we want to basically add a reset button. So reset buttons are amazingly easy to do because a lot of it is auto-completed for you, because it's not too hard to just delete something. So now, if we look at what we've added 2 scoreboard objectives. So we need to remove them. They don't automatically remove themselves. Now, if you remove an objective, it gets removed from the display on the side as well, so we don't need to worry about these ones. And then we've got 4 teams which we need to remove as well. So we've just got 2 objectives and 4 teams. So if we're going to come up here, we're just going to go /scoreboard, objectives, remove, and then just hit tab. It's simple as that. Then we come down here, stick it in there, add, remove kills. Alright, so there, it disappeared from the sidebar. Now, as you can see, we've still got the health objective, so we're going to do that next. Now, it's as simple as just putting it in there, just going health. I copy and paste that, so I can stick that in there to make sure it works. There you go, and health is no longer displayed. But now, we've still got the dilemma of teams. So, I'm just going to add a little bit of a marker in here. Now, boop, boop. Now that's all of that. /scoreboard, teams, remove, blue. Okay, so remove team blue. Now, it's pretty, easy to figure out what's happening. It's just removing the teams, and when you hit the reset button, it'll remove the team, and when you start the game, it'll set it all up, re-add the teams, it's no problem, as long as nobody tries to hit the reset button after they're all in their cell. Make sure they're all in their cells before they hit the reset button, and it will work. So there we go, we got all of that. I'm just going to step on this pressure plate real quick. So it adds all of that, adds that. We'll even be in the correct teams and everything. Obviously I'm still in the team because I didn't remove the teams. Now if I come down here, don't know why I flew up and over, because we got a massive hole, gaping hole in the ground right here. Remove that, boom, remove the objectives, remove the teams, as you can see in the chat, and we are no longer in the objective. Now this would be a good time for a quick test. So because we've worked on blue, I'm going to press the button, I'm going to run in here, stand here. As you can see, everything was created. So it's set display, options, stuff like that, get put in this room, and we get teleported straight to this next room after. Now it was so quick, and I was talking way too much, that we got teleported to the next room straight away. So yeah, we want to basically minimize the amount of time that they're in these rooms. But I will put these on a 4th delay. This just kind of helps because they will previously have these chunks loaded, and these might not have these chunks loaded. I don't know, it's just like a little bit of a buffer. It's kind of like a respawn timer as well, because they respawn in that room. They re-added to the team because you know, whatever. But they just make sure they're on the right team, so there's no team changing mid-game. It doesn't matter if this command... Oh, sorry. It doesn't matter if this command here is run twice, because the closest player is already them, and they'll just be re-added to the team. Their score won't change or anything like that. So it's kind of like redundancy. It doesn't matter too much. It's just nice to have it in groups of 2, so it's not too complicated. Now, another thing you want to do is you want to go through and label each of these with signs. But other than that, we're pretty much done with today's episode, I believe. I'll just check my list. So the next episode will all be all about gearing up your players in this cell. They might go from that cell to another cell and whatever. And by then I'll have a map in, and I'll teach you about giving them the items, respawning them, and how that's all going to work. And we'll be all good to go. So please leave a comment. Let me know what you think of this series. Anything else you would like me to add at the end of this series, in case you think I might have forgotten it. Because that's the episode after that one, after the next. And basically I'll just teach you how to tidy up and stuff like that. Pretty simple stuff for tidying up and stuff like that. But very easy to forget. So please leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Please leave a like if you liked the video, if it was helpful in any way. Please share the video. It would be amazing. I've only got 90 subscribers as of the time I'm recording this. Thank you to King James VII, aka Jethro, for subscribing to me the other night. He told me, he's like, subscribe to you. I'm like, good man. So yeah, so thank you all for watching. Subscribe if you would like to stay up to date with this series and any other series. Really got to get on recording that. And goodbye.